So that's been processed. I have been working on the PDF with them. I sent them preliminary changes, updates on the visitor guide PDF. So I went page by page in the visitor guide and found as many updates as possible that we needed to make, and sent that to them. So after they took a look at that and made those revisions, they sent back the PDF, which you should have, with those revisions in it. So I wanted you to take a look at that and see if there was anything else that you felt needed to be changed. After we get those changes done, the second item from Studio 6 was to do a reprint of the visitor guide. So what you had approved was doing a reprint with just minor changes. So that $3,900 for the PDF revisions was taken out of that bid. And what you got before you was a second bid to do the reprint, to do the design portion of the reprint for $2,700. So what we have now is, with that $3,900 and the $2,700, all the design elements will be taken care of, and then all we have left to do is to get the bids from the printer for printing the new guide. So the bid that you have from Studio 6 for $2,700 includes the pocket that you had discussed putting in the back of the travel planner, the visitor guide, with an insert that we could update and reprint at a lower cost. And then we're back rolling. After this is done, then all we have to do is let Studio 6 know that yes, that's what we want to do. Accept this $2,700, and we won't be able to do that until the meeting that follows this, which will be a regular meeting because you can't vote in a work session. So for that $2,700, we add the pocket to the back inside cover. Then we stay with the the current visitor guide with revisions. We'll keep the fold-out map in the inside, and then we'll create the restaurant insert, and then we'll be rolling again with within probably a month with a new printed visitor guide. So what we're doing now is we're reviewing the visitor guide, the PDF that I sent you with those changes. See if those changes are amenable to you, if that's what you want to do, if there's other changes that you want to make. And so if the board wants to go page by page, you can do that. Or if there was anything marked in particular that you did ahead of time, we can do that. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
First of all, I want to thank you for all your time working with Studio 6, because I know that was a lot, and I felt it was a bargain of a deal to get us going again. Camilla or Amanda, how do you feel about it?
Just going over kind of the PDF and going through the pages, are the pages that have the restaurants currently, are those going to be deleted from the new visitor guide?
They're going to be reworked, not deleted. So we can put something else on those pages entirely.
Okay, maybe that would be a good place for the Fisher's Peak acquisition. I don't know if it would be nice to have it closer to like the outdoor recreation, but Fisher's Peak, let's be honest, can kind of take up its own space. It's got its own story. It's got its own kind of draw. So one of the other things that just was, it's a small thing, but there are quite a few pictures of like Bella Luna pizza or like salads in there, and I don't think we should feature anything that they can't have access to. Even at this time, even if there is a possibility that it opens up back again, definitely that Los Animas grill page needs to be changed or updated, or maybe that could be included in the Fisher's Peak acquisition portion. But those are things that if people open up the visitor guide and they say, wow, that looks so good, where can I get that? You know, the reality is that they can't right now. And so I don't think we should be featuring any photos from places that are not open.
Okay, so one of the reworks that I wanted to do on one of the restaurant pages was I put it together, but I didn't do it until after I sent you the packet, was a tried and true page. So my tried and true page would be those local restaurants that have been in operation for millennials. So we have Nana Nanos, we have Bob and Earl's, we have Mission at the Bell, Reno's. So I wanted to do a tried and true page and kind of do a little verbiage on, you know, how these restaurants have been, their recipes have been passed on through the ages, you know, through generations, and do a little something like that. And I didn't know if that was something you thought would be good. I can send you the text and the photos for something like that if you want to do that.
I think that's a really nice gesture. I like that. The restaurants that have sustained, so people can. What is your criteria for tried and true? How many years open, or?
Yeah, basically. You know, just those maybe family, just our restaurants that have been here and have made it through the ages.
Yeah, no, I like that. I don't want to dismiss, but then the rest of the restaurants would show up in the pocket, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that's honor. I like that a lot, actually.
And I would probably put it on page 55, where Los Animas Grill is right now. And so instead of featuring Los Animas Grill, I would feature those tried and true restaurants.
Yeah, and yeah, but no, I think that's great. I also really like the Fisher's Peak acquisition has to be a huge piece of that marketing inside there. And I don't know who would write that, if that would be you or somebody else, but really getting the hype up of how you know, how rare it is or how exciting it is that this is happening, and all the trails that are being built, or, you know, I really think that's an important piece of this. I also think the front of the booklet should have all city council, not just the mayor, on it. Show it in Union. I think that the city council should own it more. It's their tourism brochure for the city.
So a new letter on page 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Camilla?
Yeah, I agree with all of what you have to say. Is my question is, has anybody talked to Ballaloona to see if they're going to open?
I talked to them 6 weeks ago. At that point, she was not going to open, but that doesn't mean that things have changed. Things have changed a lot for everybody in the COVID days.
Well, if they plan to open, I just hate to leave them out, because this COVID has taken a toll on a lot of things. I mean, we have Arcade in there that never existed anymore. We have Blues Fest that didn't exist anymore. We don't know if they're either one of them. I'm sure they're both coming back, but, you know, we're under assumption that we got to be careful, you know.
Yeah, no, but I think on this reprint, it just kind of shows what we had. I think that universally, everybody's going to have that. You know what I mean? And then on the new booklet that we're talking about, then we would have, you know, some month in the future to decide how to handle that. But no, right now, every small city has events that hasn't happened. So I think I know exactly what you're saying, Camilla, and you're right. And we'll have to change to the new brochures. But to get brochures out there right now, show what we're show the root of who we are. You know, the fabric of our community, which has really done all these things.
And on that note, we really do need these brochures. We give a lot of them out in the as far as my business goes, because how I ended up Marty with 2 boxes, I don't know, but I have given a lot of them out. And I think they're a very interesting read for many people.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I'm really glad that Studio 6 worked with us, as we haven't really been working very much with them in the last year, but we have in the past. And those are reasonable.
I have one more question, because I'm looking at the booklet right now. Any places for trails, for just our local trails for bicycling? You know, maybe the road we have. You know, the ones up by the dam. Now we can't get too carried away, but the ones up around the dam, and mention the wormhole loop, and maybe mention going out east riding just a little bit, you know, just so they know that we are active in that area already.
So on page 19.
Okay, I'm going there. Because I was looking, I might have skipped that. Gotcha.
There's hiking and biking, boating, kayaking, and paddleboarding, fishing, ice fishing, and hunting. So this all falls under outdoor adventure. So we can do hiking, biking, and backpacking, or we can take, you know, we can stick it in there somewhere. We can eliminate a photo and add a new paragraph. Maybe take out the bear and add a cycling paragraph in there. Or we can go to 16 and 17 and do something on those 2 pages, since we're doing, or if you want to do, see, there's the Fisher's Peak piece there. So it has outdoor adventure. So that might be where we put our Fisher's Peak rollout on that outdoor adventure page.
Right, I agree. It's a nice picture right there, yeah.
What do you think, girls?
I do think we should keep the outdoor events with the outdoor events, instead of putting them towards the back, towards like page 68 or wherever, or 65, wherever Jay's was. And so if I understand correctly, that's 3 or 4 pages of restaurant that we want to fill in or change. Is that right?
Well, not exactly.
And we can, okay, so we have to keep them in the same place and just alter them, or?
Okay, so just bear with me for a minute. So I kind of moved from restaurant to outdoor adventure with Camilla.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that you wanted to do a nice spread on Fisher's Peak.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if you go to 16 and 17, you have a nice picture of Fisher's Peak on those 2 pages, and then you have outdoor adventure on page 17.
Uh-huh.
So that might be the area where we cover Fisher's Peak as the new state park.
Okay.
Right, I agree.
Would that work? Okay, so we'll put Fisher's Peak there.
Uh-huh.
And that's where you can mention your, and on 18 and 19, we could take out the bear picture and we could put cycling there. Is that something that would work for you? So you have a whole paragraph on cycling?
I think there's already enough text on that page. I like the picture of the bear and the trees below. Is there any way to make add another page and just do cycling? I think we might have enough on just cycling to put a page in there. I think we do.
Well, we can't add pages. We have to stick with what we've got. So
you don't stick it in the back of the book, because that's where the extra pages are. So.
And we can't move those pages from the back of the book to the middle of the book? Is that right?
Well, so here's our dilemma. We can change the pictures and we can change the text on the pages, but we can't add pages and we can't change the basic design. So if you have a to have text that's going to fit that we want to add, we have to fit it somewhere where there's already text. If we want to add a photo, we have to put it where there's already a photo. That's how we were able to keep the cost down, because there's not a major redesign.
Marty, on page 18, the frog, is that a frog?
Horny toad.
What's the horny toad? Okay, and the picture above that.
Those are some kids doing some sparkler twirler thingies while they're camping. So that's supposed to be a camping photo.
Wow, that don't look like a camping photo to me. But maybe we could get away with the horny toad then, if we like the bear and the mountain, which I do agree like the bear, and maybe put a little bit more cover sheet right there where the honey toad is. Get rid of the honey toad. The swirlies, we could do a little bit better on camping if we could find, somebody with a tent and put it there. Maybe a picture from the lake, somebody camping. Do we have any of those pictures?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then we could do a little bit more cover on that one, move the boating, kayaking, paddleboarding, because that's a big thing in Trinidad for a lot of people. But the bicycling is becoming a bit too.
Okay, so just tell me what you want to do then, girls. You want to eliminate those two photos and add a better photo of the camping, do away with the horned toad, and then add a paragraph on cycling?
Okay, no one's talking. I think it's sort of like adding a new sleeve to address that you've worn for a couple of years. So I really respect the artistic quality that you're trying to get Marty and Studio 6 to have it happen. And I do still think we need to do it, but it is a little tricky what we're doing.
Hey Marty, this is Phil. Got a couple of questions for you. The first one is, the front page, can that be changed at all?
The cover photo?
Yeah.
Yes, that's going to be changed. You have the option to change that. And
okay, that's one of the things that I was thinking about there is, could you put maybe on part of the page, maybe half the page, Fisher's Peak stating states 42nd New Stakes Park, and there on the side maybe you could put Fisher's Peak, and maybe you can have a photo of maybe I don't know if you want to put a bike in there, bicycling, and maybe also something like camping in there. I don't know, something to that effect. So that might work for you, because I think that some of the economic data that has come out from CU in the community, it's pretty prominent, and I think capitalizing on it is something that if you could do something with that front page. With Fisher's Peak, I think it'd be good. The other thing I was going to mention, there was discussion about the page with. I think you're spot on to most extent on the restaurant portion guide, the tried and true. I personally feel that any restaurant who has not even attempted to stay open during COVID-19, that they need to be eliminated from the pages. Because I just don't think that we can depend on those people to stay open, because people are going to look at those pages and they're going to say, well, is this open? And all of a sudden we find out they're not here. So I think I think you need to look at that pretty hard.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I love your first part about the Fisher's Peak. That has got to be our focus right now. It just has to be all the intention and the energy that is put there, and the amount that we could make or break that by really supporting it or not. We need to really support that. So, yeah, great point about the front cover. That's good. And the restaurants. So as I understand it, Marty, you are doing a tried and true pages for people that have stayed open, that have been in town many, many, many years. But we'll still have a restaurant insert that we will produce that will only have the restaurants that are currently open that have lived through the COVID crisis. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so what I wanted to do was change out that little piece that has Los Animas Grill on it, and there's a picture of can't remember his name, Jay. There's a picture of Jay on there, and it's on page 55. And up at the top, it specifically features Los Animas Grill. And then down below it, there's a picture of Jay. So there's a full half-page column dedicated solely to Los Animas Grill. And I thought it would be good to do some of our tried and true restaurants in that area, instead of just featuring one particular restaurant.
Absolutely, that's a great idea.
I agree with that, yeah.
Now,
I
quick
definitely
question. What about pages 56 and 57? What will those become? That's the list of the restaurants.
So I'm not quite sure how they're going to rework that, but those 2 pages will be something entirely different.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure what they have in store for that, how they want to redo that.
I just like to say, Marty, that I love that we'll have the pockets to put the current restaurants in. But if we can, anything with outdoor recreation or Fisher's Peak on those, or current, I think Camilla spoke about current pathways or trails that we have on in town, we just really have to morph into, praising Fisher's Peak and in southern Colorado and outdoor recreation, because that's where we're headed for our most tourism and to help the city.
Hey, Marty, this is Phil again. Just a question. I haven't had an opportunity to look at the book lately, but on the front inside cover, being that there are multiple pages to the booklet, is there an index to page for people to follow if they're looking for something specific?
Yes, the content page is on page 5.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, 5 and 6 actually. So there is a table of contents.
Okay.
And then Amanda, to answer your question about those pages where the restaurant listings are now, if you'll turn all the way back to the back of the book for 66 and 67, that's where our pocket for our restaurants is going to go. So we're going to have to move the hotels. So it might be that we move our hotels into those pages where the restaurants are now. So we have that 2-page spread on hotels on the back page. See where I am?
That would work.
So we can move the hotels to that where the restaurants are. Rework those 2 pages with our hotels and our lodging, and then we're going to use that back page for the pocket, and we can do an introduction page on 66 where it says stay.
Hey, Marty, this is Phil again on the hotels, and Sai, you'll probably want to chime in on this. One of the things that, with this Fisher's Peak thing, a lot of people, or not, some people have, that I talked to, questioned, you guys have enough hotels in town that are going to be able to accommodate the number of people coming? And I'm wondering, Sai, the new hotel that's supposed to be going up, is that an absolute that's going to happen? And if so, should we maybe have something in there to say the new Hilton Garden Inn coming in 2021 or something like this? I don't know if that's something we want. You guys want to do? Because that way it would show that there will be more accommodations in the future. So I don't know if I would step into that or not, but that would be a discussion for your group to.
What I would add, just to make sure that it's all fair for everyone, I would just add, Trinidad is something like up and rising, soon to be another additional, a minimum of 100 rooms added to the hotel and lodging scene in Trinidad. Or, you could say, 36,000 room nights in the city of Trinidad, which is what it would produce for the city of Trinidad. And just say something similar to that, not really scoping in on actually a Hilton Garden Inn, but, people are paying attention and currently there's in the works, new hotel development going on, which would increase lodging capacities in our area by an additional 36,000 room nights. Just something like that. I don't know if I'd actually put the Hilton out there on there just because I feel uncomfortable since it's one of my projects. But yeah, Mayor, sure. And we can add other things that, in that, come see, that, and, there is, the Space to Create project just opened in downtown Trinidad, and a whole promo on Trinidad and what's going on, which would be great. And yeah, we are straight ahead still with building of the hotel. We meet every Tuesday with, just as a side note, with on the Hilton building, and right now we're just reformatting a few things on the bottom floor, and our meeting's always on Tuesday mornings. But yeah, that's still a straight go ahead right now.
Okay, well, I think that's a good way to put it rather than specifically identifying a hotel. But, that's up to your group whether you want to, they might want to chime in whether they want to have something like that in there or not. So you might ask them, Marty.
Okay. Another question, Cy, that when I'm doing fulfillment for these visitor guides, I'm taking them to all the hotels. I'm taking them to Tower 64. I'm taking them out to the Roadway Inn. I'm taking them to, all the hotels that are around. And one of the things that I was told is why are we not listed in the hotel listing the guide? So I pointed out on the last page where you have the text that says that if those establishments are not, how does it read? This guide is funded by the Trinidad Lodgers Tax. Those lodging establishments not featured do not satisfy the 2001 Lodgers Tax requirements. So I read that and they're not happy, but they still let me leave the guides there for their guests. So I wanted to ask, since they are distributing the visitor guide, even though they're not paying a lodger's tax, can they be listed?
Oh, that's so sketchy. Well, we do produce guides for everyone, but I'm not quite sure. There's a few of us that are actually trying to start a lodgers association in Trinidad. I've tried it numerous times without some buy-in, but there's a few people that are interested at this point. That would almost be a question for like a lodgers association, how they would feel that they're doing the work, collecting the money, writing the checks, and making sure things happen. I do say that we take our book out there. Yeah, I don't know. I need a little, let me get back with you on that one. Let me feel the tempo out there and what people feel.
They just, they don't want to, we're not going to carry the visitor guide. We'd still like our guests to have it, but they feel that it's unfair that they're not even listed, but they want
to.
So
who is that? Who is that, Marty? Who is that?
I would rather not say, Cy.
Okay, well, everybody in the city should be paying the tax.
It's one of those hotels we don't have.
So it's the hotel on Santa Fe Trail that doesn't pay their tax.
Marty, does the Holiday Inn pay into the tax?
No, it's that other one that's owned in the county, Mayor. The one that is, it used to be like a third-party sort of place. It was sold, and they've got it's directly across from me, the Peace Hotel.
Right, no, but I'm asking about the new Holiday Inn.
Oh, no, they would have to pay.
They're in, and they do pay their lodgers taxes. But there's some that are actually located in the county. They're not located within the city, so they're not required to pay a lodger's tax. There's a couple of those. The Tower 64, the Roadway Inn, and is there a third one, Si?
No, those are the only two that I know about. And the one that, and actually that was the reason why there were some of us in the hotel industry industry, because you stand up for something that you collect and write checks to the city for. Why so many of us complained about the Tower 64s, because he was marketing his hotel for a while. I don't know about this owner, but the owner right before him, because it was sold, 7-8 months ago, was marketing stay with us because you don't have to pay all these taxes. And we were like, what the heck? That's how we found out they weren't paying tax. Again, I would have to reserve and do a small meditation on trying to think what's most fair, to make sure that we treat the people that are doing all the right things, that they are fair.
So my last question would be, shall I continue to ask them to distribute the guide for us then, since they're not included?
We do that with the Mitchell Museum. We do that with any place downtown. We distribute our guides. That's the purpose of it.
Right, but the Mitchell's in here. Those hotels are not. They can't be they're not found anywhere in the guide, but I'm asking them to distribute it to their guests.
Well, you could explain to them why they're not in the guide, and what do they say when you explain to them?
I just read it, and they kind of shook their shoulders and said, fine, leave it, with kind of an attitude.
Well, then they could have that same attitude if you want to say, do you want to book a brochures to put out, and if they shrug their shoulders and say no because of that reason, that's,
It's just such an uncomfortable place to be, because if we were actually getting the revenue from the hotel on Santa Fe Trail that does have city services and the roadway, we would increase our budget by, probably between the two places, a substantial amount, $40,000 or something a year. So that's why it's uncomfortable for all of us. But I don't want, in any way, shape, or form, want to be an instrument that hurts the city of Trinidad. So I need to think about that question, and both of you please think about it too, and let's do the most right by making sure that we're compassionate, but we're doing the most right by all the other business leaders that are paying their tax and not marketing, that you can stay with us and not have to pay city or lodging tax, which really is always very hurtful to the rest of us.
Si, what's interesting is that, to some extent, they're not at fault at some extent, because whatever reason, that's why I say the new Holiday Inn is annexed into the city. They're part, but that Hotel 64 is not, just like the hotel across the street, the old Quality Inn, the Quality Inn is not, is what you're saying.
No, the Quality Inn is, Mayor. The Quality Inn is. I was president of the tourism, I was president of the chamber, and I'm actually, when I rallied, they've always paid.
Okay, so Motel 64 is the only one that we're discussing here.
Tequilas. There's motel up above Tequilas. Budget host.
The roadway and Summit RV Park.
And it's
there's been a discussion, and I'll talk to Mike about that. Maybe it's time that the city take a step, possibly toward annexation. I don't know if that would be something we want to do, but that would be for probably future, next time that you redo this guide.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. They get
we're not getting else, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And Mayor, the Tower 64, I'm not sure about the roadway, but the Tower 64 has all city services. They have sewer, they have water, they have everything. So that's just a side note there.
Well, that's true, and that's where I'm going with this, is that anybody who is receiving services, fire, police, any other sewer systems, water systems, that's within the close proximity of the downtown area, I think they should be probably annexed in, but that's a different discussion, and that's only for council to have.
Thank you.
Okay, so then getting back to the visitor guide, if were there any questions on the PDF that I sent you with any of those changes? Had you marked any other particular pages where you noticed changes needed to be made or photos needed to be refreshed or replaced? Can I ask you kind of individually what you found and what you wanted changed? Camilla?
Right now, I think we hit everything.
Okay.
I'm still looking through it, but I think right now we're pretty covered for until the new booklet comes out and we're doing upgrades on this one. I think we get pretty good right now.
This will roll into the new booklets. So the PDF changes that we make now will be used to print the new booklet.
Right, right.
All right. Amanda?
The only other thing I would think is any addition or subtraction of like the shops or salons that are downtown. I don't know if you've gone through and called all of them to just make sure that they are still open. But I know, just even we do our accounting at the Bell Block, and they've got a new salon that's in there. So we just to make sure everything is totally, completely updated.
Do you know the name of that salon, Amanda? I can give them a call.
Just to be 100% sure.
You know the name of that salon, Amanda, so I can give them a call?
Kimberly Lopez. What's her name of it? I can't remember.
It's something, I have no idea. So sorry.
It's on my mind. I just can't remember it now.
All right, I'll see if I can find out.
I'll let you know.
Thank you. Sai?
Pretty much all that I've said, which is the restaurant pages we all know are being taken out, and in place of that, Fisher's Peak and our outdoor recreation, as much data that we can get out there to get people excited. And I agree with the mayor. The front of the cover should absolutely be Fisher's Peak acquisition, with maybe even a notation, referring to pages, whatever those restaurant pages are, to see, with a really great advertisement piece on Fisher's Peak, and wow, how many miles worth of trails or footsteps you could do, or we could all work on whoever that is with the writer to give them really, a really powerful excitement for the pushing of our outdoor recreation. Our social distancing is already built in here, and built in up on the mountain, and just that, and yeah, and thanks for working through this.
Okay, so then I'll find some photos. We're going to replace the front cover, so we know we're going to do that. If you go to page 1 and 2 on the inside, that's where we can tout the new state park. In that paragraph there where it says Trinidad welcomes you, because it's got a beautiful picture of Fisher's Peak in the background and the city in the foreground. So that will be the introduction there. And then as we go through the book, we will change out some of those pizza photos. Most of those are all Bella Luna. I don't think we're going to do page 17. We're going to put up a write-up for Fisher's Peak on there. Camilla, on the quirky page, it has Trinidad Blues Fest, and it has it listed as, well, let me find it real quick. So it's page 48 and 49. It has Blues Fest. On one page it says August Trinidad Blues Fest, Central Park, held annually the weekend before Labor Day. Is that going to stay the same that you know of?
Not anymore on Saturday. They are still trying to do the concert series, which will be one in June, one in July, and then two nights in August. They are planning on using the entertainment district on all those nights, Saturday downtown. Okay?
Okay, so I'm going to reword that. I'm going to take out Central Park. I'm going to take out Central Park. I'm going to put Downtown Entertainment District.
Right, and just put Trinidad Blues Fest concert series. That's what they're still planning on.
Okay.
And
held, it says held annually the weekend before Labor Day.
Well, that's still going to be one of the weekends. They're going to call that the Blues Fest still. They're going to do one concert in June on a Saturday with different types of music, not blues. They're going to do one in July that is not going to be in blues. It'll be on a Saturday. And then two nights in August, Friday and Saturday, but they will have the blues music on keep with that tradition of August will be the blues.
Okay. So I can keep the pre-fest and I can keep the Blues Fest the weekend before Labor Day.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to Jerry about it, but you could just say, music in the streets. I'll let him decide that, and I'll have him get a hold of you, okay? Because he still plans on doing June, July, and August. If everything goes well and it covers up, And on that note, the bands that were all scheduled for this year are all holding their contracts for this coming year. They all agreed to continue with this year.
Okay.
And
so
I'm sorry, Marty. And just for flavor, I'd really like for you to remember while you're doing it or you're passing it on to anybody that the flavor of where we're going in town is totally outdoor recreation, Fisher's Peak acquisition, and music. So music year-round, a lot of our different venues. So we want to give the people the feeling of they can ride their bike, they can do hiking, they can go kite flying, they can go snowshoeing, and then come back into town. And there's numerous places that are hip and cool and have music venues and have restaurants to eat. That's the feeling that we're moving into.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to back up.
And these concerts they're doing, it's not going to be an all-day concert. It's going to start, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock at night and go till about 10. And that's, that's what they're doing.
Okay. All right. Well, then, I don't think I had any other questions. Then I'll go ahead and make these changes and get them to Studio 6. I do need a new picture of the lobby at the La Quinta.
I'll get you one.
The one that I have here is the old lobby. So I called Kim, but she was busy, so I told her to call me back, and then I was busy, so I never got the photo. But if you could have her send me a new photo, maybe the front desk with the Trinidad photo in the background and the little peak thing that you have there, I really like that. That's a good photo. It's on your website.
Yeah, actually, that is a good photo because it's the photo in the lobby of Fisher's Peak again. So I really want to push Fisher's Peak as much as we can. So we'll get something with that photo of Fisher's Peak.
The front desk that has the peak in the background is perfect.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right, so I think that's all I had on the visitor guide. The insert. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the insert. So the insert you can do 2 ways. You can do a rack card, which is just a small, I don't have one in front of me. It's a kind of a card stock with a front and a back, and it'll fit right in the pocket. Or you can do something that would be the type of paper that the stock that the visitor guide is in. It's kind of a thicker, glossy stock, and you can make it a full page and fold it and put it in the pocket. I would suggest the folded insert because you can put more on that. You can also use one side for restaurants if you like, and a back side for events, since a lot of our events change and our dates change on our events. That's just a suggestion.
No, I like that because I wasn't really seeing much in the background. I was thinking what else we could use that pocket for events or things that are going on. So I like that idea because I think that pocket is even more valuable than just putting current restaurants in it. So that's a good idea, Marty.
Okay, so shall we go with that then? Everybody else? Amanda, Camilla, is that something you want to do?
I agree 100% with the events on the back as well. Now, is that going to look the same as it did on the restaurant pages from Studio 6? Do they still design it?
Yes.
Okay, because it did look nice. I liked the format of it. I liked the little icon by each restaurant to kind of signify what kind of place you were going to. So yeah, I think that sounds great.
Yeah, format will be the same.
I agree.
Okay. Thank you. All right, I think then we're rolling with the PDF. We can get that. I should have that done probably by the end of this week, and then we can get that. We can start marketing that, and then we'll move forward with the actual visitor guide and the printing of that. I'm waiting for costs from the printer, but once the PDF is developed, that is what we're going to use for the reprint of the guide. So we should have new guides printed and in hand by the end of the year.
Awesome.
Is that right for everybody?
Thank you so much. That's great.
Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and move on to the rest of the agenda.
Okay, the marketing matching grant. Anytime we can work with the CTO office on a marketing grant, I like to see if we can do that. It's a partnership, and they like for us to work with them. And I want to make sure that everybody at the Capitol knows that we're partnered, that Trinidad is a partner with them. So I like what you put out. How do you think you could use it the best?
It's for marketing, so maybe we could use it to cover the cost of the printing for the visitor guide.
Either that or, they're all, there we go again with Fisher's Peak. They're all in it for the Fisher's Peak acquisition. So, is there anything else that we could do, even in a 3-part fold, or anything that we could do? Is there a website? Is there something that we can do with those matching funds? And I obviously I liked your first idea, Marty, because I'd like it for the booklet. But is there any? I'd hate to leave any money on the table when we got Fisher's Peak looming right all over the city, being our outdoor recreation. What can we do to match up to advertise that better?
Most of the marketing is going to be covered by the Colorado Parks and Wildlife for Fisher's Peak. Just so you know that, just like it is for Trinidad Lake State Park. So there will be a website link on the CPW website. So they will also start producing brochures just like they do for Trinidad Lake State Park. So most of that marketing is going to be taken care of by CPW.
But from the city of Trinidad's point of view, I would really like to see marketing being done for what we just talked about, the outdoor recreation, downtown music and food, outdoor recreation, stay in our place. And so, how does everybody else feel, Amanda?
Like you said, Marty, a lot of the pamphlets, the information, probably like a state park map, is going to be provided by this other entity. And I have a quick question about the grant, as I'm pretty new to this stuff. So the one-to-one would mean that if we decided to take on a marketing project, if we spent $10,000, Colorado CTO would then give us $10,000 to put towards that same project. Does it have to be the same project? Could it be a multitude of projects? One. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I guess before we move forward with any sort of marketing for Fisher's Peak, we would really need to see what CPW is going to have before we start making plans. Although, you know, the grant is something that it does have an expiration date, and we're still looking at next year for really access to that state park. I guess I don't feel confident that we would be able to move forward with a marketing towards just Fisher's Peak at this time. I think we kind of need to wait and see a little bit more about what their plan is, what their marketing is going to look like, so that we're not doing like an overlap. Like you said, we do have a deadline on the marketing grant, and that's September 29th, I think. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying about not getting it up. Maybe we need to find a little bit more dates about opening. The parks and wildlife, and as wonderful people as they are, they've never really pushed Trinidad State Park in partnership with the city of Trinidad. Instead, what the Colorado Parks and Wildlife does is they just push the park out there with all their other park stuff. And I would like to see more of a advertising, marketing layout where the city of Trinidad envelopes their park and gets to advertise all outdoor recreation, including Fisher's Peak, including the river, you know, Purgatory River, and including all outdoor recreation together, and really own it in advertising it. Trinidad, even for us, we've put Trinidad Lake in a lot of our brochures and almost all the things to do in the surrounding area, but we haven't lifted it up and said, well, this is the best top 5 place to fish in a lake in the state of Colorado. We haven't really done that. But with the Fisher's Peak acquisition, for us to do our part, I think we have to loop it into the city like you do. These are all the outdoor things you can do during the day, and then at night you can come to downtown Trinidad and eat and drink and listen to music, so that we become more of a culture of, and I don't want to name any cities, but we are in the South where Austin and the other places are. We are set up primely for people to come and do outdoor recreation, and then come and help support the economic development of downtown Trinidad. And we, as the tourism board, or anybody in the city, we've all referred to how lovely the lake is, but we've never really picked it up and put it in front of us. And with Fisher's Peak, I'd like to see more of that happen, to help have our area have a place where people come to do all that outdoor recreation. So that's just what I was saying about that, but I understand that they're not completely ready yet. We don't have timelines. But, for us all to think what we're doing, what else are we promoting in Trinidad? That's the easiest thing to promote, is our outdoor recreation. And to help economic development, we need to partner that with the downtown city of Trinidad. Economic development, tax base, tons of reasons, So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where it says applications open up once a year, and it says at the bottom, it says grant period cycle approximately 1/15 of 2021 to 2022. When do we have to use that money by? Is that when that we have that cycle? We have a whole year, or do we have to use it sooner than that?
You have to use it within that period, but
so we have it.
you do have a year to use it.
Okay.
So once you acquire the grant, then you can move forward with what you identified. So with everything that Cy said, I mean, it all makes sense. You know what you want to put out there, what you want to say, what you want to promote. What you need to do is you need to identify how you're going to do that. So what is your marketing piece? Is it a brochure? Is it a rack card? Is it a TV commercial? Is it a what is it? What is your marketing piece? So be thinking about what you want your marketing piece to be. I mean, in years back we did some mailing envelopes with the bricks on it. We've done bags here at the visitor center that had we've put Fisher's Peak on some bags. I don't know. There's different ideas. You need to identify what your marketing piece is going to be. So be thinking of that. You still
Okay.
With you saying that, Marty, before we dive in any deeper, we all are here trying to do the best that we can for the city. Let's find out if that marketing grant will work for this booklet, and if so, that's great. And then we can work on another piece for the Fisher's Peak acquisition when we have better understanding of when it's going to open and timelines and periods, instead of trying to decide now when we might already be qualified with the booklet that we're redoing.
okay. I'll find out if that's a qualified piece. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, COSVG has everybody been able to print that out or see that?
So the piece you have in front of you is the ad that we did in the Colorado Official State Visitors Guide. That's that $14,000 ad that we're doing in the state piece, the state booklet.
Right.
Last year we did Fisher's Peak, Colorado's newest state park, opening 2021. So that's what we did last year. So what I need you guys to do is identify what you want to do in that vacation guide for 2021.
And I would say it has to be, go ahead, Camilla.
Go ahead, because I know we're thinking the same thing. You go right ahead and talk.
Well, I'm down the same pathway right now. I really want to promote Trinidad with outdoor recreation in every facet that we can. Our frisbee golf course, or golf course in general, our river walk downtown. I foresee Trinidad as the #1 asset to Trinidad is to push the outdoor recreation. I mean, how can you drive down the corridor and if you don't stop in Trinidad, even miss the Fisher's Peak, and really bond that and really help our downtown businesses, our restaurants, and our the things that we are doing, hospitality downtown, and really bond that so people can come here and expect that, you know, the people that are riding bikes, the people that want great food, the people that, you know, we are teaching our public right now that the best thing that you can do if you want to get out of your house is to go outside. So pushing going outside, and that we can offer that to you when you come in Trinidad is and what a beautiful, I mean, if you're going to push something, what a better thing to push is that we have so much outdoor, but we haven't really pushed it. We talk about it, but we don't live it. You know, if you go to places that have the outdoor recreation and the ski lodges, you know, they're all those young people. They're all working in those businesses where they're you know, they're pushing it by, we have to educate our local kids. We need to make this the outdoor mecca for people coming and really drive the small businesses, help them downtown. And I think we're just in a perfect setup to do that. And, you know, maybe it's the energy, and maybe it's because Fisher's Peak is so much in our face, besides that when you live in Trinidad and there's trails on the other side of town, you don't really know about them, so you don't really push it. So I think we need to educate our populace. We need to move forward and, you know, have that romantic small Colorado town and just push as much outdoor recreation and drive people to go to our restaurants and hang out in Trinidad and leave with a lot of outdoor venues, really helping the downtown restaurants that are open, making sure they get to have tables outside in front or in back of their buildings, you know, just really pushing that Highway 12 and what are the bike paths going up there, you know, really just embracing that. And I'm proud to advertise outdoor recreation for Southern Colorado, for Trinidad, and to envelope that in the downtown area.
That's a lot to put on one ad.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just want people to know the feeling, right? What is our feeling? We can't do this lightly. It can't be because we like eggs over easy and we have them once a week. It can't be that way. It has to be that we want to do that every day. It's that if people are riding bikes or doing what they're doing, that they get up in the morning and they find breakfast places to eat and they go outdoors, and at night and during the day they laugh, they do all the stuff that they do, and at night then they go and eat at our restaurants and help any shops that open even now or pop up open.
I get what you're saying. I really do. I just don't know how to put that on one page and accomplish everything that you just said.
Okay.
What's the picture What's the picture
I would
that's
like
going
to change the picture. We still have Fisher's Peak, but I'd like to change the picture, not have the same picture. All right?
So change the picture. What?
Huh?
Change the picture. What?
Marty, do you have access to like a stock of photos that would include one photo of Fisher's Peak, one photo? We do. We have those photos. We've had all the photos that we've used in the visitor's guide. So maybe, Sai, what we can do to kind of complement all of those things that you're thinking is still keep a really clean design of some of the different things that we offer. And maybe you could start it like from morning until evening, going down the page. You know, I'm not a design person either, so I totally see where you don't want to make this a mess. You want to make sure it still looks clean. It still looks like it's something that gets the story and the point across. But maybe we could feature, you know, the course of the day, and starting off in the morning, somewhere where you're going to start your hikes or you're going to start your bikes for the day. Kind of take them through, just with photos, take them through the cycle of what they could do in Trinidad, what they have access to, and then finish it off with a really beautiful photo of somewhere downtown patio with the lights. You know, Jay's got a really cool setup right now with the hanging lights that he's got outside, and the tables all look the same. It's sharp. When I talked to him, he said it's gonna look like downtown New York when you come out here next time. And he's really trying to get like an essence of a thing going on there. So maybe that could be a way to include all of those elements. But again, we have to make sure it looks good. It looks clean, it looks crisp, and it's something that promotes our town well, with including all of the aspects we have to offer.
So what you're saying then, Amanda, you want to do maybe the top half morning, with the morning photo and some activities listed on there, and then the middle half, maybe the afternoon, with some text in there about activities they can do then, and then the bottom half, maybe the evening photo with some text on what you think? That
sounds really cool. I like that idea of the cut into 3. I think that's sharp, that's clean. I think it's something to play with.
I think when you start putting someone's restaurant on an ad, one particular restaurant, we're going to get in trouble. So I don't agree with putting Jay's pictures, even though it's wonderful, on a major ad like this. Sorry. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but
yeah,
I just think
I totally see where you're coming from, Camilla. When I came in, you know, I understand that people can get upset, but it's also a way to promote what we really have and what is actually featured in this town. So I see where you're coming from, but I also see the benefit of featuring different places in different advertisements or in different ways, you know, as long as they're all included. But I think we could miss out on really good promotion of things that look good and things that are appealing to a certain crowd of people that we want here. And I don't know, you know, we don't want to just use a Google photo that's not really true to what we have to offer, or miss out on the opportunity to showcase the nightlife that we do have in the downtown area that we do have. So that's always a pickle for me. I think it's been my hardest thing coming onto the board, is not being able to advertise for places because of the fear of hurting somebody or feeling left out. And I understand it, but it's one of those things that nobody seems to win there.
Hey Marty, this is Phil. You know, something that, you know, if there's some reservation concerning advertising a particular restaurant or business, for instance, you know, you're talking about the setup that Jay has. The other one would be Moose's. Instead of advertising and showing an actual picture of the building, if you would just have a picture of the seating arrangement in both places possibly, and saying, you know, these are some of the amenities that Trinidad has to offer, something to that effect. That way it doesn't target a particular business, it doesn't identify a business, but it identifies some of the things that are happening in town, the way restaurants are catering to people that want to tourism.
So featuring the ambiance rather than the actual restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
you've got now a cafe that's going to be open Friday and Saturday nights. She's trying to do a Friday, Saturday nights for South down there on Main Street. So, and I think it's very hard to put one particular theme on a major ad that we're spending that kind of money on. And it should be outdoor. I agree. It should be outdoor recreation. It should show our Fisher's Peak. Maybe some of
Outdoors,
outdoors. Our golf course. I just don't know if we should. And maybe a couple pictures of the tables and chairs outside.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You know, the other place that you can consider, and I know you can't put all of them in, but now that the purple tote is changed, you can show the outside portion of the tents that they're using, and not actually advertising the business itself. So there are some possibilities there.
There are some possibilities there. Yeah, you can't.
Okay, I'll work on it and see what I can come up with. We've got a little bit of time. I've probably got about 2 weeks, so I'll do 3 or 4 different drafts and send them to you and see what you think.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you.
Okay. The itineraries on the website, we're working on those. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. We have done 3 different itineraries that I have worked with the other 2 byways with. So the Scenic Highway of Legends, the Caminos Antiguos, and the Silver Thread have collaborated on a itinerary that we're putting on the Colorado Tourism Office's website for day trips. We have the first one is already up and running. It's called, it's got a picture of the sand dunes, but it has, I think it's short walks, long views. We featured Bob and Earl's Cafe because it's on the byway. We featured stuff to do at Trinidad Lake State Park. The next one that we're going to do is featuring, it's a 5-day road trip, and it features the geology of the region on the Scenic Highway of Legends, and then it goes into La Vida, Cachara, and again over into the Caminos Antiguos, which is in the San Luis Valley, and then Silver Thread that takes them into South Fork and Lake City in that area. So the 5-day will feature the radial dikes. There's a stop at I believe it's at the Stonewall Shopping Bag or the Stonewall Cafe, and then it moves on. And then the next one we're going to do is fall leaf viewing. So we're going to start, well, actually it's going to start on the other end this time. It'll start on the silver thread and it'll end up here in the evening. So I'm working on that, looking at a restaurant and lodging and an activity in our area. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And those all three will be up on the Colorado Tourism Office's website soon. I'm also working on Travel Stories app with the Canyons and Plains Board, so that we can feature, they've never included, or not, I should never, they currently have not included Los Animas County or Trinidad in anything that's been marketed for Canyons and Plains. But that is our region that's been identified by the Colorado Tourism Office. And so I'm working with them on getting everything listed for Trinidad and Los Animas County because we're not anywhere listed at all. So also sitting on the Santa Fe Trail Byway Committee and trying to include Trinidad and Los Animas County in the marketing pieces for that because they haven't included anything for us. They feature Sand Creek, they feature Ben's Fork, they feature everything on the Eastern Plains that's in Benton County and Prowers County and, you know, all those areas, but not one single solitary thing for Los Animas County on Santa Fe Trail. So trying to remedy both of those. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that you can check out those itineraries on the CTO website. I think you also, Amanda got an email from the San Luis Valley Museum that should have said that you were featured on the website. Did you get that email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, did you take a look at it to see if...
Yep. And then link to share it on the Facebook. So I'll get on that as well. So thank you.
That's what we're doing. I'm also developing some road trips for Trinidad specifically. So some gravel grinding opportunities, looking at outdoors. So road trips that will bring people here to enjoy the outdoors. So right up your alley there, Miss I. I'm working on those itineraries now, and I should have something on the CTO website probably by the end of next week. I'm wearing a lot of hats, and so I overextended myself. I apologize.
Great, Marty. Great. That's really great.
So then the last thing, then, Cy, number 5, we can go on to that if you like.
The Canyons and Plains, the letter of introduction. The letter of introduction, everybody's passed, from Rick Wallner, who's president of the project for Canyons and Plains for Southeast Colorado. Sort of an introductory letter so that we're all aware of who he is. Have you talked to him, Marty?
Yeah, we meet at least once a week.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew him or not.
Yeah, I'm on that board. That's why I just explained that. I am on the Canyons and Plains board, also on the Santa Fe Trail board as well. So I work with Pam Denahy from Lahana Events and with Rick Wallner, and there's representatives from each of those other regions that are on counties that are on that board. So there's representation from Baca County, Benton County, Crowley, Kiowa, Otero, and Prowers County. So there's a representative from each county. There has not been in the last year any representation from Los Animas County. So I have extended an invitation to some of the city council members to sit on the last board meeting. The last meeting that we had, Aaron Ogletree sat in with us, as did Karen Grego. So I will continue to invite them to those board meetings. They're all virtual, of course, but they have been in the last 2 board meetings. So but I am a board member now. So we do have representation from Trinidad now. And so working with them diligently on recreating some things for Trinidad. I mean, there's like trying to get us out there. There's nothing out there on Trinidad. So what he wants to do, what Rick Wallner wants to do is see if he can meet with us and kind of tell us what they're doing and bring you all up to speed on that. So if it's okay with the board, then can I invite them to the next work session?
Sure, absolutely. Yes.
Sounds great.
December 23rd, will be the next work session. I will go ahead and reach out to Rick and let him know that that's our next meeting date. I think it's best to do it in a work session rather than a regular meeting.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Marty.
Then Cy, I guess if there's no other discussion, does anybody else have anything else they needed to say? And if there's not, can you adjourn and then call to order the regular meeting, because there's a couple of invoices that need to be approved, approve the PDF revision so I can send those out, and then approve the Studio 6 bid for the visitor guide reprint.
Sure. So the only thing else that I would want to say is that the hotels have gotten busier again. There's been an influx of traffic a lot over the last 3 weeks, and just to let everybody know, it looks like the traffic is back there. I don't know what will happen in the fall, but all the hotels have been doing really great for the last month.
Cy, this is Phil. I'm going to sign off now. You're just going into just an approval of some bills, so I'm just going to sign off. But good discussion today. Good to hear that you guys are working on these real hard. Appreciate everything.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we'll go ahead and, does anybody else have anything else?
Just a quick question. When is the next quarter of checks that come through to the hotels? Just so I kind of start understanding when it is.
Sure. So it ended in June, and everybody paid in July. So it's July, August, September again. So it's due October 15th.
Okay. And then did we know if we got any Airbnb payments on that last quarter?
We do know that one form of the Airbnbs is sending a check, and I don't know if they already have or not, but I do know that one portion of it, there's different, there's like Vimeo, there's a different ones, but I think the total, the Airbnb, one of the major sites is sending it into the city now, and I don't know that amount, and I don't know if they're just collecting now and they're going to send that check in October, but one of the 3 major Airbnb sites is now collecting those monies. And I think that Les is working on the ones that don't collect right now, but I'll look into that too. I'll let Tom know too. We'll find out.
So there's 3 bread and breakfast organizations. One is called Airbnb, the other one is VRBO, and I'm not sure what the name of the third one is. But the actual Airbnb company is the only one right now that is collecting. And so any bed and breakfast that is a member of Airbnb is required to send in their lodging taxes, and Airbnb is supposed to send us a check. I can check with Cheryl and find out if that's come in for the second quarter or if it's not expected until the third quarter. And then I'll report back to you.
Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome.
And so then we'll go ahead and...
Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
And it is 10.
Any opposed?
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and call to order a regular meeting.
at 10:23? Okay.
And roll call.
Campbell?
Here.
Luttrell?
I don't know where she went.
Linda? And Michaels?
Here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you having trouble hearing me?
No, only Amanda. Amanda keeps zooming in and out. Amanda, can you hear us? Amanda, can you hear us?
Let me see if I have her phone number, if I can call to make sure she's. Does anybody else have an Amanda's phone number?
Yeah.
Are you there? Because I can't call it from my phone because I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, I can call it. Here, give it to me.
I'm calling her.
Huh?
Oh, wait, is that you?
701-426.
I've got her on.
Oh,
I
you
got
got her? Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. It booted me off.
Okay.
That's okay. It happens. Happens all
Okay,
of us.
she's back. All right, so, Sia, we can go ahead and do the action items.
Sorry, my. Sorry, I didn't have that one pulled up. Yeah, I don't have that in front of me, Marty, and I've looked at my computer. I'm not quite sure what it is. Can you state the agenda?
Okay, so the first action item is the approval of the invoice for the down payment of the approved PDF revisions. So that is in your packet, and the total is $1,950. Do we have
we
a
need a
motion to
motion.
approve that?
Can Camilla or
The
Amanda, do
total
you feel?
amount?
That's for
Okay.
Studio 6, right? That's the one for
Correct.
Studio 6.
Yes.
I make a motion
The
to
total is,
Studio 6 payment.
Second.
we have,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you. So then the second action item was the Studio 6 bid for the visitor guide reprint. That one is the one that says 2,700 at the bottom. And I just want you to know, what a fantastic bargain this is. Really, it is.
It
because
is.
the
You're right.
last
No, it
visitor-
is. You're right, Marty. You're shocked. You're right. It is shockingly good.
It took me I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I really worked hard to get this cost down for us, guys. I mean, I cried my heart out saying, you know, what a big hit we took on our lodging taxes and how, you know, we didn't know how we were going to be able to do this, and we didn't know if we were going to qualify for the matching grant. And I mean, I laid it down thick, and I mean, and none of it was untrue. So, I mean, they came back and they said, we'll work with you. We'll do what we need to do for you. We'll try to stay within your budget. And this is what they came up with. And I'm really very grateful and appreciative for working with us. So, that's, and then your printing costs are going to be kind of, you know, it's about $11,000, $12,000 for a reprint. And that's just the printing cost. So, you know, this here is just working design. And I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, those printing costs are always high. You can't get away from those.
Yeah. Okay, so motion for the 2,700 for the design work on the revised visitor guide.
I make a
Okay.
motion to,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to, for the Studio 6 2,700 for the reprint.
Second?
I second it. Sorry.
All in favor? Say aye.
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 All right, girls, I think that wraps up.
Okay, then we will adjourn.
Next meeting, Cy, is when?
I don't have that in front of me. Let me look real quick.
September 9th for a regular meeting? Is that?
Yep. September 9th for a regular
Okay.
meeting, September 23rd for a work session.
All right, then we'll adjourn at 10:31.
10:31. You girls rock. Girl power.
Marty,
Awesome.
Marty, I'll bring this laptop down sometime to you, okay? And we'll work on it. All right?
So just so we can look up what's going on.
Yeah. All right.
User A.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Amanda, just before we go, did you have trouble getting? Did you have trouble getting your Google Drive with the document?